All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. studios. Archie's out again once this week. He's dealing with some work stuff. But you got Bueller and the brothers in here going to talk to you about some MMA news.
Woo!
Not that kind of brother.
All right. Hey, man.
Going to talk about some MMA news. Of course, break down the Ultimate Fight Night card that happened last week. Got some things going on this weekend. No UFC, but Bellator. And was it Glory as well?
Yep, Glory 26.
We'll hit up the other UFCs next week when we come back. But we do have the Ultimate Fighter to talk about. The finale is going down next week. And we have, I think, don't we have the guys who are fighting in that? I think we do. So we'll check that out as well. Before we jump into the news, though, make sure you check out our sponsor, which is strongboardbalance.com. Get on board, change the way you work out, strongboardbalance.com. Check out their Instagram. They're doing giveaways like every week, I think, for the month of December.
And where'd you take it to last week?
Last week, it's at Sculpt Fitness right now.
Are they digging it?
They are totally digging it. The guy who owns the gym is
Does he want to order some?
I think he does.
Yeah!
I think he does. I mean, we'll see if he does. Talking's talking, buying's buying.
Well, I need to know if he does order, because then there's a possibility we could get another one.
That'd be awesome. I'll find out if he does or not. But he does personal training, in case you're wondering, and he's had some of his clients get on it, and every single one of them has raved about how awesome it is for the core and legs and stuff like that. Worth checking out, strongboardbalance.com, and of course, mymmanews.com, our second home, and a place where you can get all the breaking news as it happens, if you don't want to wait around for us for a week.
Yeah, and they got a competition going on right now. All you people who like to play with your elf on the shelf and take pictures. If you can do an elf on the shelf setting that's MMA, you can win yourself a UFC gift card.
Dude, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Put it right in the ring like Herb Dean.
Hey, I'm just telling you.
You just give away.
I mean, you could take your He-Man choking out the elf on the shelf.
I don't have Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I don't have an elf on the shelf.
You kind of are an elf on the shelf.
I kind of am.
You kind of am.
I'm always watching like some weird pervert.
And if we touch you, you lose your magic. I don't think that was magic you just lost.
There was my girlfriend she teaches at a school. She got to school today, and somebody, it must have been a staff member. Somebody just wanted to be fun and festive. Put an elf on the shelf on the top of one of the buildings, the one-story building. So it was looking down on the kids. She texted me. She said, "There's an elf on the shelf on top of the building. How long do you think it lasts?" And I said, end of day before somebody hits it with a rock. She goes, I'm going for lunch. 5 minutes later, there was a call over the loudspeaker that said, "Whoever knocked Sancho off of his perch to please come to the office."
I just thought of something. That would be dress yourself like Elf on the Shelf and just randomly place yourself somewhere downtown.
That could be fun and creepy as fuck.
Just staring at people.
Like, I would probably get beat up for that. So we'll jump into some Ronda Rousey news, because, of course, this is still a big deal. She's come out a little bit. She's been Dana said that they've been talking pretty much every day since the fight. And first off, let's go ahead and square away that there is going to be a rematch between her and Holly Holm. This is per
automatic.
Dana White. Yeah, per Dana White, per Holly Holm. Not so much out of Ronda Rousey's camp because they're keeping quiet, but it's going to happen. She's still serving her 6-month medical suspension.
Right. But
there is a rematch. It's going to happen.
Yeah, Dana said that him and Lorenzo, if they did not schedule it, that they themselves as promoters should be ran out of town. if that's not what was going to happen.
I mean, it does make sense. It seems like that's what the majority of people want. Ronda is already back training. There's a photograph floating around. You can see her in the background on, like, I don't know, some kind of cardio machine, it looks like, with Travis Brown in the cage. The sad news is they're back with Edmund.
Really?
Yeah. They're training back at Edmund's gym.
Well, it's not even Edmund's gym anymore, right?
Right. They're training at the Banks gym. It's called Chase Gym now.
Allegedly.
So they are back training with the same guy, which I just don't know if I like that, man. That's what the biggest cry was online, was that she needs to change camps.
Well, the big joke of the week has been every time they called her striking into question, they had him come out with the mitts. They didn't have her strike anybody. They just had him come out with the mitts and her strike the mitts.
Right.
And I mean, I could probably look good if you held the mitts and, we worked out.
It's possible. I've seen enough video games.
Yeah.
We could do a couple of that, some Bruce Lee movie type stuff. Yeah, wah. And so, I mean, I don't know if that's, like I said, I don't think that's a good thing. I think she should have gone to Greg Jackson's cap or something. But time will tell. She still has 4 months on her suspension anyway, 4.5 months. So that's that. But she has come out, told Dana and Lorenzo in one of their private talks that I guess Dana was allowed to make public or felt like making public, that she said going into that fight she was physically, mentally, and everything else exhausted.
Oh, well, everybody had said, one, she looked like she had a terrible weight cut.
Yeah.
And a lot of people pointed out that the fact that emotionally she was kind of off kilt,
Well, that's the thing, is that she was dealing with a lot of personal family stuff going into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a firestorm of stuff. There was the whole relationship with him.
The crazy-ass mom stuff.
The mom saying stuff, and at one point we didn't know if the mom was saying stuff about the new boyfriend or about the trainer.
Jeez.
And then she all-out attacked the trainer,
Yeah, and that's got to be mentally taxing when you're trying to focus on a fight with the trainer that your mom is attacking.
Yeah, and then they're putting you on, I think she was on some type of show every day for like 6 days in a row, and you have to put on that plastic smile, and you can't say that anything's wrong.
And all that added up, I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but all that added up could definitely cut down a couple notches when you're going in for a fight.
No, but this is what everybody tells everybody on their way up. It's a lot easier. Maybe that's why these guys like staying at 5 and 6. No, I'm good here. Because when you get up to number 1 and 2 and champ, it's like everybody dips in a little bit more, unless you're Demetrius Johnson,
right?
And then people just don't. Whatever, they don't care.
They just don't care.
It just
doesn't matter.
Yeah, because he's one of the champions. I've never heard he's not stressed.
No.
Almost every other weight class. I mean, even McGregor and Aldo.
Maybe that's why he doesn't do a lot of trash talking and stays out of the way of the media, because then people forget about him and he has nothing to stress out about.
Yeah, he has nothing. You know what? Here's a formula.
Yeah, there's no pressure if everybody forgets about you and you're the forgotten champion. Hey, what about me, guys? He's not doing that at all.
Yeah, because I mean, there's even there's a lot of trash talking right now in the heavyweight. Oh, he's never faced somebody who was like this. He didn't face the same guy when I faced.
Yeah. Moving on from there, I guess the UFC decided, hey, we're going to build ourselves a new UFC headquarters. And while the fighters who make money don't really care about this, they're not like freaking out about it, but the fighters who don't, that are getting like 3 and 3 to fight or 5 and 5 to fight, they don't understand why they have a heart. They're struggling to be mixed martial artists and be professional fighters and professional athletes, but they can't get paid a decent paycheck, while the Fertitta brothers went out and spent $7.5 million on land, just land.
Yeah, and I don't think it's very classy for Lorenzo to come out and say, look, I'm tired of people complaining about the pay, because the people at the top are making money. That's a horrible thing to say.
I guess it is his way of saying, if you want to make money, get to the top.
Yeah, but at what point?
Yeah. You think that there should be like a league minimum, like the NBA?
The NBA, the NFL?
Yeah. All the other sports. I just remember hearing about the NBA league minimum a lot.
No, I just think that they need to fess up and say that they sold short. I mean, we said right from the beginning, whatever, for 7 years, what was it, $77 million?
Yeah. With the UFC, with a 3-fight contract alone, it was like when you won it, it was like, yeah, it was awesome. You get $100,000, and it was guaranteed 3 fights, but that could be over the course of 3 years.
Right.
So you're getting $33,000 a year. Sounds great. $100,000,
right.
Awesome.
But then, like we figured, the UFC employs at any given time up to 600 fighters.
Right.
$11 million a year just doesn't seem like you're going to take care of 600 fighters.
Especially when you're breaking it down to the top tier fighters getting such a huge chunk of that.
Right.
I mean, you could look at it politically and start talking about the 1%.
Yeah. And our numbers can be completely off because we are bad at geography.
Yeah. So they haven't even disclosed how much they're actually going to spend on building the headquarters.
They never will.
Right. And some artist renderings about what it's going to look like. It's a full-fledged facility dedicated to the UFC.
Just a big middle finger.
From the air. From the air, it just looks like a big middle finger.
It's just Dana White's hand doing it, too, to scale. But it's a dedicated facility to the UFC. It's going to have a rehabilitation center for some of the fighters if they need it. I'm sure it's going to have a break room with a vending machine.
Can you go visit him? Is it going to be like a nursing home for the older fighters?
That would be awesome.
Go visit Chuck Liddell?
That would be pretty fantastic, actually, if they put some of their punch-drunk fighters in there as exhibits.
Oh.
It'd be like a petting zoo for retired fighters.
Hey, what would you put in the food? You put the quarter for the petting zoo. Pez works. Just like Gatorade and supplements. Pez that look like Norcos. That's probably.
Here's some Hydroxycut.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Take it or leave it. I mean, it's not going to stop the. My problem with the UFC fighter the pay gap stuff going on right now is that it seems like the staff is making a lot of bad decisions that's keeping on to upsetting the fighters.
Yeah, who is the business people here? Like,
Oh well, what about
have an accountant?
well, what about Reebok? They just put out the Anderson Aldo shirt.
Right. They put up the Machida shirt with his wrong birthday.
Does anybody? I don't know.
Anderson
man.
Aldo, Machida was born yesterday. You know, whatever.
I like it says your grandma knows more about MMA than Reebok does.
There was a shirt that came out too. I can't even remember off the top of my head, but I couldn't. When I clicked on it, it was already gone. They already pulled it from the Reebok site. But it literally said like the fighter's name on the front or whatever shirt it was, and on the back it said something along the lines of "Insert fighter's motto or nickname here."
Here, so then nobody even checked the proof.
Nobody checked it at all. So Reebok is doing a great job.
So the deal was between Reebok was $77 million, right?
70. I think it was $77 million for 7 years.
I want to know how much they sponsor other football players or other athletes, because I'm sure they're paying maybe millions to a single player, right?
With as many fighters as they're getting from the UFC for $77 million, they wouldn't get that many athletes in any other organization.
No, not at all.
But at the same time, you got to figure, let's say there's 600 fighters employed by the UFC, there's only going to be maybe 10% of that that's actually moving Reebok merchandise. You know what I mean? If you're ranked number 17 in the flyweight division, nobody's buying your fight kit. You're not making any money for the UFC or Reebok at that point. So I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it. If Reebok is sponsoring, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think is a reasonable deal for like an NFL player, like a major NFL player? $10 million. $10 million sponsorship deal.
I wouldn't even know.
I know. I can't say reasonable with. I don't even think they should be paid that much.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it happens.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Is like, so we got
Yeah, $70 million over 6 years. So I think the final figure was $77 million for 7 years.
And so you get to say Reebok gets like 10 NFL players for that much. You know what I mean? That makes sense to me.
I think one team would get $70 million in
so?
a year.
Yeah, I don't know numbers. Little numbers and stuff.
Well, I don't know, because to pay a player, you got players who are making $10 million a year.
Yeah,
for 16 games.
Don't depress me, man. Is Josh doing the math? Does he have his calculator out over there?
Yeah. And while we're talking contracts, I mean, have you heard about Rogan's contract coming up?
I was actually going to bring that up.
You're going to bring that up?
Yeah, Joe Rogan is only guaranteed through next August and has not said whether or not he's going to be coming back. He's actually said he doesn't know if he's going to come back to commentating with you.
Is he also looking at free agency like...
Maybe.
You know, like somebody else we might be talking about later?
I wonder if he has a non-compete after his contract's up for like a year or something like that. Or would he be able to go to... Would he go to Bellator, though? Would he do something like that?
No, Bellator already has a him.
I want his job.
Bellator has a knockoff Joe Rogan.
Is it like law that they have to put out his job opening so I can apply for it?
They have to fly it.
Or they're just going to promote from within? I have no idea.
I don't know, but you have to do stand-up, too, because every city that he does...
That's not part of the UFC contract.
You got to book a stand-up show, too.
If you want a bunch of dissatisfied customers, no problem. Hey, guys, I'm going to be commentating UFC in Vegas, and I'm going to do a really shitty stand-up show at the Comedy Club next door. So, yeah, next August, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. I think he'll be back, personally. You think he's going to walk away from that gig? He loves that gig.
I don't know. I think, by listening to his podcast sometimes, I think he's at odds with his job and what he really wants to say sometimes. But I think that's everybody with every job.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe he's just sick of it. Being sick of being told what he can and can't do. UFC booked, Ultimate Fight Night 83 in London at the O2 Arena, which is fucking massive.
Right.
It's absolutely huge. The biggest bands in the world play there, usually when they're on their farewell tour, so they're big enough to accommodate every fan they've ever had in their entire storied career. And the UFC booked UFC Fight Night 183 there and sold it out in 27 minutes.
Bam.
In London. Kind of a big deal. And they also booked UFC Fight Night 82 in Pittsburgh at, what was the name of, you remember what the name of that arena was?
Yeah, see, Venus Williams just got a $40 million contract herself.
By herself.
By
for
herself.
5 years.
For Reebok?
from Reebok in 2000.
Yeah. So
in 2000 money.
In 2000 money. So that's like 80 million now.
Yeah. No, it really. Well, it's not quite that bad, but yeah.
So there yet other evidence that the Reebok deal is fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever. Keep defending it all you want. So anyway, in Pittsburgh, UFC Fight Night 82 is booked as well.
Right. And you were saying earlier that they announced 183 first.
Where they announced 83 was sold out, like right before they announced where 82 was
going to happen.
Yeah,
right.
which I thought was weird. What is it, the Enron Arena or something like that? Is Enron still a thing? I have no idea.
I'm sure it has a different name, but it's still probably the same company.
Yeah.
some energy thing. I have no idea. There were rumors going around that Robbie Lawler was injured, and I don't know who put these rumors out. But Robbie Lawler,
Aldo, remember, he's putting rumors out to find a rat in his
gym.
He's just
gonna start making rumors about everybody. Hey, go tell Tim that we heard Robbie Lawler's hurt. See if it comes out in the news.
And then it comes out, Tim's dead.
Fuck Tim. Robbie Lawler apparently not injured. This is per Ariel Helwani, though. This is still not an official source. Helwani said that he spoke with two guys that train with Lawler. One of them said, no, Lawler's not hurt. One of them said he was just doing mitts with Lawler, and Lawler's not injured.
Right.
So who knows who to believe here? There's no official statement yet.
I don't think Helwani has time to certify anything anymore. I mean, because he's actually doing stuff on TV, too.
Yeah, but I mean, he can put a couple texts out and just report what gets responded to him. But nothing official. I don't know. Can we trust Helwani?
I want to, but like we were saying earlier, some of the interviews just aren't genuine anymore.
Yeah.
It's like they sat down and worked out everything they want to say and how it's going to come across.
Yeah. Well, I guess you have to after you had Mayhem Miller on her show.
Yeah.
in character.
Yeah, and Tito says that he don't like you in front of everybody. But, and again, I wasn't a big fan of his ambush journalism, but at least it was more real.
You know what? He did what he had to do. I didn't like Ariel Helwani because I was jealous for the longest time.
Really?
Well, yeah, man, because he was hustling. He was getting all these goddamn
He did,
interviews.
yeah. He was hustling, but he also was an instigator.
Yeah, he 100% did. I remember when he went up against one of the boxing commissioners in New York about why they wouldn't allow MMA, and they were comparing it to boxing. The guy was calling the UFC fighters thugs, and Helwani he really defended MMA.
Right.
And I was jealous of him, and then he got all famous and shit for doing it, and we're still doing this. But so we'll see if the rumors are true or not, find out who was right on that one. But speaking of injuries, we do have a couple people that are out. Darius is out at UFC Fight Night 81, which is going down next week. Wade is going to be his late replacement. So see how that one's going to go. I don't know, man. That's a week out.
Hey?
I mean, is it even a week out? Wait, the finale is what, next Thursday?
Right.
And then a fight night on Friday, and then a pay-per-view on...
Saturday.
No, the finale's on Friday. That's the middle card, so it's less than a week away.
No. It'd be exactly 1 week away.
That's crazy, but we'll see what happens.
Was he already in camp, though, for something else?
That I don't know. I honestly am not sure. Possibly. Mm-hmm. I mean, he could be one of those guys it's either ready to fight at a moment's notice just because he's waiting for that call, or he was already ready to go somewhere else.
Which, ideally, everybody pretty much needs to be from this point forward.
It was exactly what Conor McGregor said. Aldo's not going to show up. All you motherfuckers from 145 to 170
just ready. Work out. Be ready.
That's what he said at a recent press conference. So it's going to be Chris Wade up against Marbek Tasumov, UFC Fight Night 81. So I don't know. We'll see. Chris Wade's 10-1. He's 3-0 in the UFC, going up against a guy who's 24-5, 4-1 in the UFC. It's going to be, of course, UFC Fight Night 81, like I've said, 10,000 times already. But yeah, it takes place. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not next week. That's where I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You're looking at Brazilian time?
No, yeah, it was Australian. It's January 17th. I'm sorry. So you got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking
Disregard the whole last 5 minutes.
We'll cut it in post.
We'll cut it in post. Here to waste your fucking time. So anyway, still, the guy's out. Also, another injury. It looks like Jermaine Durandame is injured. She was set to fight UFC on Fox at 17, a bout with Sarah Kaufman. That is no longer happening. I don't see that they have a replacement for that happening, though. That one is going down on December 19th, so it's possible they will not find a replacement this late in the game. I have no idea, though. This is the one that has Rafael Dos Anjos against Donald Cerrone for the lightweight title. So no more coughing on that one. The return of Nate Diaz is on that one as well. Still going to be a great card, just without that fight. This is kind of interesting, though, with the Jose Aldo Conor McGregor fight coming up.
Right.
They've announced that whoever wins,
the cover.
is going to be next to Ronda Rousey on the cover of UFC 2.
So you get to be cursed too. Whoever wins gets the curse.
Maybe that's why they announced it like that. Maybe they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to put." Oh shit, we shouldn't say that. We said that about Ronda and she got knocked out. And like, do you still want Ronda on your
Hey,
cover?
so shouldn't they put the loser?
It would make more sense.
Yeah, whoever gets knocked out.
I think that's how it should be done.
Yeah, whoever gets knocked out gets the cover.
I still think that they need to make intersex matches on the damn game. It's a game. It should be allowed. I want to see if I can use Ronda Rousey to beat up Jose Aldo or whatever.
There you go.
It's a game. It should be allowed.
Should be allowed.
Wait, I mean, that's an interesting take on it, though. Who do you think is going to win that fight for one? And then if they do get put on that, do you think that they're going to suffer the same curse?
The curse is the curse.
The curse is the curse.
You can't go against the curse. It's called the goocher, bro.
It's true.
It's the truth.
It's the gooch. You were saying, you were saying something about free agency. You must have been talking about Joe Rogan, right?
Right.
Okay. Making sure I'm on the same page as you.
No, and Benson too.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't I have that down here? That was a weird statement by Scott Coker, actually. It was a really weird statement. Benson Henderson just fought. He beat George Masvidal last week. We'll get to that fight card here pretty soon. But Scott Coker says if Benson Henderson is a free agent, I want him.
Well, right, because at the end of the fight, Benson puts his gloves in the center of the ring and says, I will. I think he alluded to the fact that he's going to retire from the UFC, but at this point, he wants to test the waters. And again, this is directly about Reebok money.
Yeah, not disagreeing with that at all. Scott Coker said, I don't know if his contract's up. I don't know. I'm not gonna make any moves without being sure of that. But if a fighter the caliber of Benson Henderson wants to leave the UFC, then yes, we're going to welcome them with open arms. We're going to do whatever we can to get him. Just seems like a weird statement to make about a guy that you're not even sure if he's available.
Well, I mean, for him to say that for Benson to say that he's going to go test the water, obviously he's already talked to people before the fight.
Yeah.
And when we, if you want to talk about his fight, I think it was very lackluster. He did exactly what he needed to do to win, and that was it.
Speaking of that fight card, we'll get to the main event here in a second. Dominique Steele went on. Dong Hyun Kim won. Dominique Steele won with a slam followed by some elbows, knocked his ass out.
Yep.
And then Marco Beltran went up against Ning Gangyu. Split decision all the way to the bell-to-bell. Then you had Freddie Serrano up against Ya Zuki, TKO with an arm injury, 44 seconds into the first round. Siho Ham went up against Courtney Casey with a unanimous decision. Apparently, Siho Ham was just flying all over the place.
Yep.
People saying, I don't go ham, I go Siho Ham.
Yeah.
Tai Hun Bang went up against Leo Kuntz. Split decision followed by another split decision with Mike De La Torre and Yu Chin Nam. Then you got Dong Yang, who got a TKO win over Jake Collier. That was all in your prelim on Fight Pass. Well, the whole thing was on Fight Pass.
I thought Yang was going to get it done in the first, but he got it done in the second.
Collier was able to hang on, man. And then Du Ho Choi went up against Sam Cecilia. Sam Cecilia actually lost the first round via TKO. Surprise you?
No, not watching it.
Not watching it. He just did not look strong coming out at all.
Before it started, I thought it was going to go the other way. I think we both agreed we thought it was going to go the other way.
This one surprised me, though, when I saw it. Alberto Mina got a split decision win over Sexyama, Yoshihiro Akiyama.
Yeah, I was surprised that they went against him.
Yeah.
I thought for sure anytime it goes to decision, they just have to maintain.
It was weird to me because I was surprised, first off, that Sexyama was still fighting. For some reason, I thought he retired. And then I was surprised to see that he lost. And then when I saw it was split decision in Korea.
And he lost a split.
What? Whatever. So he pissed somebody off. And then the other Dong Hyun Kim went up against Dom. See, and that's what pisses me off, too. We got Dong Hyun Kim went up against Dominique still. And then Dong Hyun Kim went up to Dominic Waters. It's bullshit. It's like it was designed to piss me off last week.
Yeah.
Built by design. But this Dong Hyun Kim actually gets a win with a TKO in the first round at 3-11. And then
this card was just double donged.
It was double dongs, and double Waters did not produce. But again, I think he took it, 2 weeks notice?
Yeah, he did come in late notice.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, Benson Henderson gets a split decision over George Masvidal, doing just enough to win. And now we'll see what happens with him next. If he takes Scott Coker up on the offer.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't bode well for George either because, I mean, I don't know. Neither one of them really got after it.
No?
My buddy John told me I was wrong, but I think there was a couple times when Benson just like was looking at the clock like, okay, are we almost done? Are we almost done with this?
Well, maybe it was jet lag.
I don't even know.
I don't know how long it takes to fly to Korea, man.
Yeah, when you're the main fight, it just seems like there should be more to it.
Should be.
Throw in some chairs or something.
Yeah,
There should be, but you can't always guarantee it. It all depends on how the fighters show up on fight day.
right.
So the Ultimate Fighter took place this week. Uriah Faber getting severely outnumbered as the fights continue to go on. We had the prelims. He only had 3 out of the 8 fighters on his side. And then as we move into the semifinals, it's 3-1 now. It's Saul Rogers up against Marcin Wizosek. They're both Conor McGregor teammates, and he said that he won't coach either one of them against each other. Not going to happen. And then Artem Lobov and Julian Erosa. Julian Erosa is your last guy for Uriah Faber's team, and he's just excited to have a dog in the fight,
Right.
to quote him. And so we'll see how that. So what is that? So the Ultimate Fighter, the show, they're going to have the semifinals next week on Wednesday, and then the finale is going to be on Friday. It's
Right.
crazy. That's crazy. So it's 4 nights of fights next week. We'll see who actually makes it. I mean, it's not honestly, it's not looking good for Faber at this point. It very well could be a Conor McGregor versus Conor McGregor teammate for the final.
Oh man, King Julian.
King Julian,
He likes to move it.
Now, Martin Stevenson was scheduled to face Artem Lobov, but had to get pulled out on episode 10 because of a broken elbow. So who knows how things could have gone differently at this point.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. This is how it is. And we'll see if if Uriah Faber can stay in till the finale, which would be how it's supposed to be. It doesn't always work out that way, but whatever. And then we have Glory going down this weekend. If you get a chance to check that out. When is this? Do you know when this is?
I think
Today.
No, the weigh-in. Were the weigh-ins today?
I don't know. It says December 4th, man.
All
Isn't
right.
that today? Today the 4th? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my daughter's birthday, damn it. Should know what day it is. It's happening in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And a lot of names I can't pronounce are fighting on this one. Just a bunch.
Not one American.
There's one.
Is there one?
Yeah, there's Shane Oblonsky.
Let's go, Shano. Let's go, Shano.
Support them stars and stripes out there, buddy.
Oh, he's going against a Brazilian. He really needs to win.
I mean, it's Glory. Not a lot of big names on here to throw around, but if you get a chance to watch it, it's obviously it's MMA, and the show's not just about UFC. It's about all of MMA because we're all encompassing like that. Speaking of other fighters, we have Bellator happening today as well. Our guy, he was on the show, Gene Fields, who comes on the show all the time. He's actually there. Was there at the weigh-ins.
This is at San Jose State, right?
Yep, sure is. And this one's kind of cool with the Punk Josh Thompson headlining it. Real quick, Anthony Du, Dustin Moore, Adin Duenas, and Anthony Taylor. Jose Perez, Bronson Mojica, also Jeremiah Labiano and Alvin Kakdak.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Kakdak.
Cactac.
Thomas Diagni and Eric Sanchez, James Terry and Mauricio Alonso, AJ McKee and JT Donaldson all make up your prelim card. Then Adam Piccolotti, Mario Soto kick off your main card with Virgil.
I think Soto's out of this area. I think
Looks familiar.
Yeah, Soto's coming out of the I believe I either want to say Chicken Ranch or
Can't click on either one of them.
no, I know.
They're not a clicker.
Yeah.
Virgil Zwicker and Brian Rogers, also Patrick Ferreri up against Derek Anderson. We've seen that name before. Daniel Weichel is going up against Georgie Karakarin. And then the Punk Josh Thompson going up against Pablo Villaseca. Sorry. That's kind of is okay. So I'm on Wikipedia, so I can't click on this. So a guy we can't click on, Pablo Villaseca, is going up against Josh the Punk Thompson, who's had championships.
Right.
It's kind of a weird matchup. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about Pablo or how he got into the main card, but he must have done something right
Yeah.
to get up there.
Yeah, either that or, they're just letting Josh go out gracefully.
I like Josh. Josh is a cool guy. Hopefully he wins tonight.
But didn't he leave on a losing streak? He did, right? He left the UFC.
Yeah, he left. His last fight, he said he wanted to win so he could renegotiate his contract,
And then it didn't happen.
and then he lost.
Right.
And he's like, well, that sucks.
There you go.
So much for me being able to negotiate for more money. Yeah, the last interview we had with him is what he said. He said, I want to win so I can get some more cash out of the UFC in my contract renewal. So much for that happening. Anyway, that's it. Wraps it up. So get you your chance tonight. If you're listening to this tonight on the 4th, turn on your TV. You probably have Glory or Bellator happening like right now. So check that out. Aside from that, tell your friends to download us on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and our website, splitdecisionmma.com. Throw us a like on Facebook, Split Decision MMA Podcast. On Instagram and Twitter, it's SD_MMA. And, of course, check out our sponsors, strongboardbalance.com. Change the way you work out. Get on board, Strongboard, and My MMA News. That's pretty much it. From the Ruloff Family Inc. studios, it is Bueller and the brothers saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.